So today is the day after the end of #AYearAthon diversity, so it's my #AYearAthon wrap up. So as I stated, the theme for this month was diversity, which meant anything different. You normally read books about young teenage women, read a book about an old man. Read books for people from a different race than you and a different cultural background. Read about someone who has different struggles than you. Like, for me, I went with disabled in one of my books. Okay, a bunch of my books. Now, my TBR had to shift dramatically, because first, the main book I wanted to read, Prodigy, not available, couldn't get my hands on it. I only read 2 books that were on my, well, technically 3 books, or 4 books that were on my TBR. And then I read quite a few that I didn't expect to get to this month. So let's go ahead and break down my goal, my daily goal, and my daily page count with my total, and showing you all the books that I read individually. So I started things off by a book on my TBR, which was Boxers by Jen Lewin Yang. I wanted to read the first 160 pages of this, which was half of this big old novel, and I only read 137 pages on day 1. On day 2, however, I read the last 188 pages, as well as reading the first 10 pages of Tamora Pierce's Melting Stones. That brought my daily total up to 198 pages, overshooting my 165-page goal for a total of 335 for the week. After I read my first 10 pages of this, I hit a snag. I realized that I needed to read this book before I could read this book. I didn't even get my hands on this book until Saturday, and I was here on Tuesday needing to read it. So I did not continue on Melting Stones, and that's all that I've read of it. On day 3, I decided to just move on to a book I did have, Captives of Blue Mountain by Wendy and Richard Pini. As you can see, I enjoyed it quite a bit and found it a load of fun to read. My goal for the day was 156 pages, which was half of this. Instead, I only read 64 pages. Undershooting it again, bringing my week total up to 399, not that big of a difference. On day 4, however, I read the last 167 pages of this, overshooting my 156-page goal for a total of 566 for the week. And then I was done with this. I want to read the first 2 novels and then talk about all 3 of them, so I need to look into getting the first 2 from the library before I go into much details, other than I enjoyed that. On day 5, I was out of things to read, so I decided to do what I mentioned that I might probably not do in my TBR, and reread Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. So I decided to try to read 2 of them, volumes 1 and 2, which is 324 pages for the 2 of these. I read volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and the first 58 pages of volume 4, for a total of 612 pages that day, bringing my week total up to a staggering 1,178 pages. Dang, that was a huge amount. That was much bigger than any #AYearAthon so far, except maybe, again, in my manga reading. I read all 4 of these on one day. Day 6, I had plans. I was also really sick and slept a lot of the day, so I only set myself a goal of 150 pages. Well, I read the last 131 pages of volume 4 and 175 pages of volume 5, bringing my total of the day up to 306, more than double my daily goal. And that brought my total for the week up to 1,486. Dang. Day 7 is mind-boggling. So I had to go to church in the morning, and then I came home, and instead of taking a nap like I should have because I'm still sick, that's why I'm not wearing makeup, I decided to watch a movie with my mom. And then after that, I decided to stay awake all the way until after midnight. So I read the last 14 pages of volume 5, all of volume 6, all of volume 7, 8, and 9 in this bind-up edition, all of volume 10, plus, in the last 30 or so minutes, I read the last 142 pages of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Volume 7 by Kazuki Takahashi. I read all of this in one day. My total page reading for day 7 was 1,109. I don't think I've ever read that much in a day. My eyes were kind of burning. I was really, really tired, but I just pushed myself through it. And in case you didn't follow me on Twitter, I was live tweeting the entire time. So I was bringing out things that bothered me, like especially once they got here, there were a lot of issues with this. There were typos, misspellings. They changed Xerxes into some unpronounceable word. I was like, how the hell do you pronounce that? And stuff. I bitched a lot. I also was talking about all sorts of things. I tried not to make it spoilery. I really did. I only revealed things that weren't, like, big, like when Winry flaps her arms like a duck. I read that in high school, and I've been doing it ever since when I get really excited, like Winry does, because I'm weird. Things like that. So I will link my Twitter. It's down below, and you can just scroll through. On almost every single tweet, there is lore. It's hashtag lore rereads FMA, and I called it at volume 10 on there. I was like, and done! But I did say I will try to marathon read volumes 11 through 20, which is the majority of the second half of the series. I'm almost halfway through. There's 27 volumes. So, my week goal for the whole thing was 1,311 pages. And I read, oh my gosh, this is huge. Whoa! I read all of these for a total of 2,592 pages! That's insane! I've never read this much! Or at least that I can recall. I don't know. I don't know. I'm too lazy to go check. Alright, so that's what I read in #AYearAthon diversity. Now to talk about the diversity in each book, of course there's several. These three I talked about before. This takes place in China, and I will have a full review of this coming soon. Let's just say this was kind of painful to read at points, because this guy is not a good guy. He makes himself from a victim to a victimizer, and that's not cool. Melting stones and would have been battle magic. The main character is Evie, and Evie is her world's version of Chinese. She looks Chinese. I think she's Chinese. She looks Asian. I don't know what race that would be. I think it's supposed to be Chinese. I don't know. And then in ElfQuest again, Cutter's wife Lita is dark-skinned, and all of the humans are non-Caucasian. Now, for FMA, this is diverse because Edward is missing his right arm and his left leg. But there is one scene in volume 5 in particular that really brings out why this is diversity. One of the many reasons why I love it is how eye-opening it is about how blessed I am that I have both of my arms and both of my legs. Because some people are even born without them. How blessed I am that I can walk on my own. How blessed I am that I am healthy. And that really hits me when I read the story of Penina. Penina is non-Caucasian. She looks like she's of African descent in Amethyst, which is actually technically Germany. It's the equivalent of Germany, you find that out. And Penina, in a horrible train accident, lost every member of her family as well as both of her legs, just above the knee. And she talked about how she had to crawl on her hands and her leg stumps, and how it made her lose the will to live. And then this man named Dominic saw her and basically kidnapped this kid off the street, and whether she liked it or not, he gave her automail legs. Another doctor revealed the price of how much that surgery cost. He said, quote, "You'll never be able to pay that off your entire life." And he just gave it to her. Ed, when he talks about losing his arm and leg, he doesn't really talk about it. Alphonse is more likely to talk about it. And Ed kind of just glosses over it, usually reveals it. This is what happens when you try human transmutation. Don't mess with human transmutation. This is what happens when you get desperate. And this is the price that you pay, and you never should attempt it. It's pretty much what he's like. He doesn't talk about how difficult it is. He doesn't talk about how when it rains, when you have automail, it hurts really bad. You only see Ed actually ever acknowledge that pain when he wakes up after a terrible event, and he's really depressed. And he wakes up and he curls into a ball around his knee and goes, "It hurts." That's all he says. It hurts. He kind of just glosses over a lot of the problems with it, while Penina was very willing and open to tell her story of what happened, as heartbreaking as it is. Like, she kind of smiles. They cut to her and she's smiling and she says, "Yeah, I really was a mess. I I lost the will to live. And then she says this. And this is the eye-opening page that just struck me. And I actually shared this page on my live Twitter feed. And it said, when I was finally able to stand on my own 2 feet, I felt so happy. The sun was warmed and seemed so much closer than it had ever been before. These legs gave me back the will to live. They gave me the freedom to go places in life. They gave me a future. That's why I love Dominic so much. And also I love Rydell, Winry, and anyone who works with Automail. Rydell is his son who does the same thing. And then the last panel on the page is Winry and Rydell thanking her for that. So that's one of the many reasons why I love Fullmetal Alchemist. Other diversity includes, of course, Benigna's non-Caucasian. Then we have characters like Roy Mustang, who I'm pretty positive is at least part Jingese, which is their world's Chinese. There's Lin Yao, and then his sister, Mei Chang, both of who are Jingese. And of course his 2 followers, Fe and Lanfan, they're Jingese or Chinese. There's the character of Scar, who is Ishbalan, which is obviously not Caucasian. He's basically Middle Eastern. So yeah, that's everything that I read. That's why I read FMA. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist, I don't have much to say except, you know, again, Japanese. I think she's Japanese. Non-Caucasian sort of counts. But I'm really thrilled with what I read. I had a blast doing it. I'm glad I was able to take last month off because I wouldn't have enjoyed it so much. And I'm glad that I got to reread a bunch of FMA. It's my favorite series of all time. I loved doing it. So thank you guys for coming up with #AYearAthon diversity theme this month. It was a lot of fun. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more. I have more videos coming, of course. So I will see you tomorrow. And also, by the way, sorry for the girl who asked, like, in October for me to do the top 10 Fae. That is coming next. I don't think it's this week isn't a top 10 Wednesday. I skipped that last week because of the book signing and everything. Next top 10 Wednesday, that's the theme. I know I don't normally reveal these things earlier, but I wanted to let that poor girl, poor subscriber know, because she asked forever ago and I still haven't done it. It's coming soon. Good luck with your reading, and I hope that you guys had a blast during #AYearAthon. And don't forget, I do have a giveaway. I'm giving away a signed copy of Ferris. We only have 4 entries so far. Guys, it's open to anybody. You just have to follow the rules and live in the US. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I have a book over there that I need to go grab. Let me grab that. There's my bookmark in there. I don't really know what I'm doing. About half of the novel. Now, which is about half of this novel. Not about half. My page, bleh, and that brought my, sorry, I'm trying to put something away. And that really came, I just dropped it.